and welcome to the upper body foam roller class. We're going to begin today with a lacrosse ball. You can either use a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, works just fine as well. Start with a few pulses of the ball in your hand. Right now we're just getting a sense of our own tensile strength. After a few pulses here, put the ball on the ground, rest your other hand on top of the hand in contact with the ball, and we're going to begin just a few CPR pulses down in the palm of the hand, right in the center. Almost as if we're reminding the palm that it has a curve, like a suction cup that you could pick the ball up with even. Couple pulses down. Now with your hands in CPR position, you can plant your fingertips on the ground and roll the ball along the heel of the hand from the thumb side to the pinky edge side. Curving the ball along the heel like you're making an arc or a rainbow. As you get closer to the pinky edge side or the thumb edge side, you might feel a little bit more density, a little more sensitivity. Pause there. You can give the thumb a little bit of a wiggle, or you can just rest and relax into that sensitivity. Notice, does the sensitivity start to fade as you breathe into that space? Pretty soon all you should feel is pressure. When you're done with your windshield wiping, you're going to start rolling the ball along the palm of the hand in rays. These rays are going to follow the metacarpals, which are the long bones just before the fingers. We're going to begin rolling the first finger from knuckle all the way to wrist. I'm using my other hand to stabilize and increase pressure if I need it. Moving on to the second metacarpal, doing 3 passes for each. Soft, firm, and firmest on those passes. Increasing the pressure slowly. And now I'm moving to the third ring finger and fourth pinky finger. All right, now I'm going to roll the ball over to a place called the thenar eminence, which is the really meaty part of the thumb right here. And I'm going to roll along the thenar eminence from thumb back to wrist. This area often needs a little extra TLC, so sometimes I'll do some circles, pausing in areas that need it, and then I might give the thumb a little bit of a wiggle. Or I can just breathe into that zone as well. When you're ready, bring the ball back into the web grip between the first finger and the thumb. Now I'm going to apply a little more pressure with the pinky edge side of my other hand, hooking that fascia over the web grip, sandwiching the web grip now in between my hand and the ball. Now I might find a little density or sensitivity here in the web grip, and then I give my thumb a little circle here for some active release. Might let the ball travel like a V along the web grip, seeking out those places near the bone where the meat of the web grip gets really dense. All right, now you're just going to fast friction along the palm, just shake it all out, and test your tensile grip again. Does it feel more dynamic, more capable of grip and strength in different ways? If you can't tell, switch to the other hand. Can you tell a difference? I'm feeling a lot more capacity, ability in my right hand, even a tingling like blood flow. All right, let's give the same to the left hand now. We're going to begin with our CPR hands, pulsing right down in the belly of the palm, letting those knuckles pop up and fingers naturally curl downward. Now, I'm not going to extend my wrist into this. I'm actually using my other hand to roll the hand forward, so I'm not putting too much pressure downward on my wrist. Plant the fingertips, windshield wipe, the back of the hand, the heel of the hand, from the thumb all the way over to the pinky edge side, creating arcs. Pausing in areas that feel like they need it. Then we'll create our rays down the metacarpals, beginning with the first finger Let's do 3 passes, soft, firm, firmest, all the way from knuckle down to wrist. Second finger, that's the middle finger. And ring finger. Always pausing if you need to, breathing into that zone. Now the pinky edge side. And ball comes over to the thenar eminence of the thumb, and we'll do a few circles here. Finding areas of sensitivity, adding that active rotation of the thumb. Land the ball in the web grip. Use your top hand to slide that tissue over the ball, creating a little bit of a pincer action over the web grip, helping us really root out areas that feel like they need a little more time in TLC. Circles at the thumb if you need it. Ooh, got a little pop action in my thumb. That felt really good. All right, now we're going to fast friction over the palm. Shake it all out, shake it all the way out, all the way up into the elbow and into the shoulder even. And now test your grip on this side again. Great. All right, now that we have our hands nice and loose, we're going to begin working with the foam roller. Place the foam roller along the short edge side of your mat. I'm going to get rid of my block, and I'm going to put my ball right next to the block so it doesn't roll away. Face your foam roller, and with your knees wide and your toes tucked in together behind you, you're going to roll the foam roller away from you, and you're going to drop your head toward the mat. So this is in yoga what we call a child's pose. If it feels good to you, you might start dipping the right shoulder down into the mat. Left shoulder dips down into the mat, right shoulder ascends. And I'm just rolling the foam roller along my hands right now. It's not really moving more than a few inches. I'm focusing more on breathing into my left side body, spreading the ribs on the left side of my rib cage. I'm going to turn to the left and drop my right shoulder down now, looking up underneath that left armpit. Breathing space into my right rib cage here. The more I sit my hips back and I push the foam roller away, the more of a stretch I'm going to get. And you can play with pushing the foam roller away or pressing it down into the earth. See what gets you the best stretch. The goal here is curious movement. Be curious about what feels best to your body. Roll that foam roller back. We're going to arc it over to the upper corner of our mat, and I'm going to roll the foam roller away from me here. And we're going to do that same work we just did. Rolling the foam roller along our palms. Slight flexion and extension in the spine, almost like a cat-cow in yoga. Playing with dipping the left shoulder down. Maybe the right shoulder down. Conscious, curious movement. Sometimes I'll move my whole rib cage in a circle. Feeling for that space. Feeling for the area that needs it most. And I'll breathe into that zone. Roll the foam roller back. Let's switch all the way over to the left upper corner of the mat. And we'll do the same here. Press the foam roller away from you at a 45-degree angle. Breathing into the right side body. Trying to dip the right shoulder down or the left shoulder down. Using the whole rib cage to make circles, leaning into the stretch, leaning away from it. Everything from my hip, up the side body, all the way up to my armpit is getting a fantastic stretch right now. And when you're ready, roll that foam roller back in. All right, now we're going to roll the forearms. So I'm going to drop down to my forearm flexors here, and I'm going to lift my hips now so that my upper body, the weight of my upper body, is over the foam roller. The more I straighten my arms, the more of an intensity I'm going to get in the forearm flexors. I'm pressing down, actively pressing my arms into the mat. For the extensors, you can do the same by turning your palms face up, rolling from wrist all the way down to elbows. You really want to get your forearms as close together as possible here. You can give the hands a little, the fingers a little sparkle as you work the extensors all the way from wrist down to elbow. You might pause and really breathe into the areas that need it most, playing with some flexion and extension. That often helps. All right. Now we're going to place our foam roller between our legs, parallel with the long edge of our mat. We're going to come to sit on the end of our foam roller, and we're going to rest all the way back. So now our tailbone and our head are both aligned with the foam roller. Grab your ball, keep it handy. We're going to begin here just with some angel wings. Ooh, I already felt a little pop release in my upper spine. This alone should feel like a fantastic decompressive stretch for your upper body, for your chest. Now, as you're doing your angel wings, just like you're making a sand angel here, when you reach a spot that feels like it needs a little more love, you might pause there, turn your palms face down, turn your palms face up. See if you can turn your palms face down through internal rotation and external rotation. All right. Pause with your arm in a diagonal, extended toward the area of greatest tension, and then take the ball and start to roll your pectoral from sternum all the way over to shoulder. Be slow about it. Be picky about it. Find the areas that need more breath and breathe into them. Work the pectoral all the way from sternum up to clavicle, pulling away from clavicle, away from sternum, into the belly of the muscle. Roll all the way into the anterior shoulder, toward the armpit. Find the edge of the pectoral along the armpit. Hook the ball there. You might use the ball to pin as you play with internal and external rotation of your arm as well. Let's switch to the opposite side. Hold the ball in the opposite hand. Right arm extends out like a wing. Roll that right pectoral now from sternum all the way to shoulder. Really getting into that lateral border of the pectoral by the armpit. Turning palm up, palm down. Keep rolling all along the belly of the pec. All right, put your ball aside for now. You're going to roll off your foam roller toward the right hand side, and you can push yourself up with your left hand. Now we're going to angle the foam roller perpendicular to our mat, and we're going to rest with our mid-back over the foam roller here. So now our hands are going to go behind our head. Wrap your elbows up toward the ceiling. This is going to create space between your scapula. Lift your hips and roll the thoracic spine all the way from the C7, that big bony prominence, that big bony vertebra, all the way down to T12. Slow, nice and slow. Breathe into those stuck spots. Oof. You might hear a few pops and cracks like I just heard. It's totally fine. Pause where you need to. Breathe into that area. You might rest your hips down as you extend your elbows further toward the back wall. Now let your elbows splay out wide. Arc your body over to the right, creating a half moon on the right side body, and start to roll out the left side of your rib cage. Now, I'm actually angling my rib cage toward the left side so that even as I'm arcing to the right, I'm angling rib cage down on the left so that the foam roller can really reach the left side of my ribs. Now my foam roller is working its way from the bottom part of the scapula, the inferior angle of the scapula, all the way down to the base of the rib cage. Let's do one more pass here. And back to center. Drop your hips, curl over to the left side, angle the right rib cage down, heavy on the foam roller. Lift your hips and work the right side of the rib cage. My head is fully supported by my hands, so my neck can be relaxed, liquid. And sit your hips back down. We're going to roll the foam roller all the way to our neck now. I'm going to put my hands on either side of the foam roller, and I'm going to tuck my chin down toward my chest. I'm even going to angle my shoulders back toward the mat. So now I have some traction in my cervical spine. My cervical spine is getting nice and long here. I'm going to roll the foam roller away from me to intensify that traction so it's hooking my occiput at the base of my skull and creating some nice length along my neck. This might feel good enough, so you might just stay here and breathe. Or you can make some figure eights, or just roll your head from right to left. And you'll start to feel these muscles at the base of your skull, just at the top of your neck, called your suboccipitals, that are responsible for these small nodding motions of the head. You might feel a little stuck spot in one of them. I often find a lot going on the right-hand side of my neck. So I'm gonna hook my suboccipitals on the right side against the foam roller. When I tuck my chin down toward my right shoulder, I'm gonna traction the foam roller away from my neck. This feels really good. A few breaths here. And turn your head over to the left. Let's do it on the left-hand side as well. Find that good juicy spot at the base of the skull. Traction that foam roller away, sending breath into the back of your neck. Inhaling it long. Exhaling and tractioning it away. Now let's turn back to center, and we'll roll all the way over to the right-hand side. Now we want to angle the foam roller at a bone called the mastoid process, which is behind the ear. You can feel it with your fingertips. It feels kind of pointy toward the base of the ear. That's right where we want to angle the foam roller and pull away from the mastoid process by pulling the foam roller back to us. I like to prop up my top leg like an assisted clamshell here so that I have some stability to push and pull against. So now I'm going to pull the foam roller back toward myself, and I'm going to turn my chin into the foam roller. Oh, now I feel a nice opening in my TMJ and my jaw. So I'm going to do some jaw extensions. Opening and closing. I can do a few circles here if that feels nice as well. Play with it. Find the movement that gives you the most access to the TMJ, to the SCM, to the jaw. All right, when you're done here, we're going to prop ourselves up on one elbow over the foam roller. I'm going to scoot up just a little bit here so you can see me better. And now I'm going to start rolling my teres and serratus by placing my armpit over the foam roller. And I can start rolling with my opposite hand up and down the teres. To intensify this, I might put my hand behind my head and push my head back into my hand, which is activating that area as I foam roll it with my left hand, using my left hand to roll the roller up and down. The teres is a very small muscle along the lateral edge of your scapula. So that's right where we're aiming, is all the way from the bottom side of the scapula all the way up toward the armpit where it meets the arm. Breathing into those areas that need it most. If I'd like, I can start to work my way under the breast tissue a little bit forward to the anterior rib cage, keeping my hand behind my head if I like, or planting it. Now I'm working into the serratus anterior. The more I lift my hips, the more pressure I can get in that foam roller. All right, now we're going to work our way into the latissimus. So I'm going to bring the foam roller about mid-rib cage. I'm going to lift myself up on my forearm. My left foot is going to come in front of my right, and I'm going to start pushing and pulling my way along the latissimus here. And as I pull my elbow down toward my hip, I'm contracting my side body. As I push it away, I'm elongating it. I'm feeling more going on in the upper part of my rib cage, so I'm just going to hang out here for another second. And when you're done, you can roll your way all the way down to the QL. Now the QL is a muscle of hip flexion, and it's a very, very deep low back muscle. So deep it's almost belly. So we're going to angle the foam roller in the space between our lower ribs and our pelvis. And you can do a couple hip hikings, flexing the hip right to left, and you'll feel that QL fire against the foam roller. So here, I'm going to angle the foam roller into the belly of the QL. I'm leaning my weight back into it, and I'm going to roll that foam roller just in that small space between the floating ribs and the pelvic ridge. Use deep belly breaths here to send breath right to the quadratus lumborum, the QL. You can play with angling your belly down or angling it up to the ceiling and start to feel which areas feel like it's giving you the best stretch. Conscious, curious movement is all we're aiming for. All right, now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, so push yourself up. We're going to put the foam roller on the opposite side of the mat now. We're going to begin in the teres and serratus area. I'm sorry, we're going to begin with the SCM. So turn so that your left neck is over the foam roller here. We're going to again feel for that mastoid process just behind and below the ear. Hook the foam roller there. Turn your chin toward the foam roller itself, and then pull the foam roller back toward you. You can clamshell your top leg and plant your foot for a little more stability, and begin rolling that SCM back toward your sternum, pulling it away from its attachment at the mastoid. It's not so much of a roll up and down as it is a hook and a pull with your hands. So now I'm feeling a lot of opening behind my ear and in my jaw. And you can do a few jaw openings and close and open and closed. You might do a few circles back here right over the mastoid if that feels good too. And when you're ready, now you can sit up and plant your elbow over the foam roller, and we'll work our way into the teres and latissimus attachments underneath the arm and along the lateral border of the scapula. So put your hand behind your head, press your head back into your hand, and you can begin to roll that teres attachment and the latissimus attachment here. I'm really using my hand against the foam roller to push and pull it away. After a few breaths, you can drop that elbow, work your foam roller down to the latissimus, and we can begin rolling along the latissimus here as well. Let your neck be loose. That's one thing I always forget to do. Let your head be totally relaxed. You might angle your chest down just below the breast tissue, and you can work along the serratus. Pause to breathe into stuck spots. And slowly work the foam roller all the way down to the QL. That's the space in between the rib cage and the pelvis. Play with the angle of your hips, belly down or belly up. Push and pull that foam roller away. Ooh, I'm feeling a little bit right here that I want to just hang out and breathe into. So I'm going to sit my hips back. Breathe right into the foam roller. All right, sit your hips down. Put the foam roller aside. We're going to close up with some twists. So rest on your back and wrap your right ankle over your left knee. Hoist yourself up on that right hip. Plant the outer right hip down. Let the knees descend over to the right. Hook the outer left knee with your right ankle. Pull it down toward the floor as you cactus your arms and look over the left-hand side. Each inhale, your rib cage grows broad in all directions. And each exhale, you twist a little bit further, head to the left, knees to the right. One more breath together. Slowly back towards center. Plant both feet, left foot over right knee. Both knees descend to the left. You can hoist yourself up on top of that left hip to keep the hips in line with the head. Look over your right shoulder. Inhaling, rib cage goes broad in all directions. And exhaling, twist a little bit further. One more deep breath here. And exhale. Let's finish with a symmetrical stretch with both hips down, extending shins and feet to the back wall. Clasp the outer edges of your feet, or you can hold your peace fingers along your big toes and you can rock from right to left. And when you're ready, when you've gotten every last stretch that you can feel in your lower body too, you can plant your feet. Shift your hips so they're tailbone down. Stretch your legs out long. Take just a moment to notice all of the changes in your upper body. After a few breaths here, left arm comes up overhead, roll over onto your left-hand side. Slowly push yourself up with your right hand, and we're all going to take a seat together. One deep breath in, and exhale. Thank you so much for joining our upper body foam rolling class. I look forward to seeing you guys for the next sequence.